There's a lot of new features in the new version of Whitson Plus. The most important one is most likely the optionality to save a analysis. So at the top here, at the top view, you'll see that there's an additional layer called analyses. And you can actually, for a given case, whether it's a flow material balance and bottle pressure, analytical RTA, numerical model, etc., you can create a new analysis. What this does is that once you've gone in and saved this analysis, it actually is stored under the well level such that you can look at different types of analyses that you've done in the past, you know, who did it, when the analysis was created. You can add a little note. You can also go ahead and make it private or public, depending on what you think makes sense. And the only thing that's really shared among the different analyses is just the raw input data. So it's just the production data. And that's it. And then you can have a different PVT, you can have different bottom pressures, and then you can do different analysis or interpretations of flow material balance, analytical RTA, numerical RTA, and the numerical model. So this is a very handy feature that have been requested by many of you, and now finally it's in the software and it's been really well received already. When it comes to the production data, you now have the opportunity to smooth any type of input data. So not only the, we have the smoothing or the custom bottom hole pressure feature. That's probably one of the more popular features where you can go and smooth the calculated bottom hole pressures. And now we have a very similar functionality for all kinds of an inputted time series data. So you can, for instance, take the tubing data and you can go ahead and smooth it as you like. You can also go ahead and remove parts of the data, only smooth part of the data, etc. So let's say, I think all this data is great, but I know here late time something happened with the gauge. So I would like to go in and say, okay, this trend right here is what is correct. If you click save, then you'll actually see that the last portion of this particular data is now totally smooth, what you see here, just a straight line. And now you see that we're using the smoothed tubing pressure. And the nice thing here is that, you know, if you're dealing with a well that has either issues with their measurements, certain periods with allocation issues, etc., you can then go ahead and do this or change this graphically within the software, and then you can flip between using the smoothed versions versus not using the smoothed version. So that is really handy in general. The next thing is related to the bottom hole pressure. So in the bottom hole pressure, if you have a gauge measurement or a gauge measurement for a given well, you can actually go ahead and tune your different correlations to this gauge pressure. To do that, you just go up to the right here where it says tuning. You just click it, and then you pick one of these correlations that you like to tune. Here you see already that I've tuned both Smart and Gaillard, but just to show you guys how this works in general. So now you see there's a pretty big difference between the Hagedorn Brown and the gauge pressures here. So I'll go in, I'll click tune, and the nice thing here is that if you have gauge pressures for one well on a pad, but not for all of them, you can go in, tune the bottom hole pressures, and then you can apply that tune correlation to the other wells on the same pad. The tuning process is very simple. It's a two-stage process. You're tuning two different factors. It's the liquid hold-up correction factor, is alpha right here, and the friction factor that you see right here. You can also see the fit of this tuned parameter here, Mahogany Brown. And then once you're done with this, you simply save it, you rerun the calculation, and now you see that this gap between the Mahogany Brown and the measured pressures are much, much smaller. What you see here right now. It matches pretty well like time there. We also updated or got a starting point for our GIS system. So now you actually see the shape files of all the different fields here. And if you click a given field, and if you have uploaded latitude and longitude data for a given well, you'll actually see where the well location is. And if you click the well, then of course you can go in and look at the well info. You can copy the well into a different project, or you can actually now lasso a wide range of wells if you'd like to do that. So you can say, okay, I would like to group these wells right here. I'd like to copy them into a new project, maybe for a type well project, etc. And you can do work in that sandbox type of environment. You can also right now measure distances, so you can see how long the well is. You can also say, okay, I would like to measure the area of these wells for spacing decisions, etc. And now you're also getting the area up here to the right. The next thing that we're working on here, so this is just a starting point, and there will be a lot of new functionality related to this, being able to upload shapefiles, save shapefiles that you can trigger on and off in terms of layering for a given field. You'll be able to plot properties that you've both calculated, for instance, PVT properties or physical properties spatially, which will be huge if you can visualize that spatially, and we'll also upload the counties and township type of shape files as well. So that'll be a big item going forward. For those of you who have been working with primarily, I guess if I just find one of these projects that I like to work on here. A new update that has been done and put effort into is the diagnostic plot. So if you go down here to the diagnostic plot feature, in the past you could put a lot of wells on the same plot, but you could actually not change their color. So now we have this multi-well diagnostic plot and this multi-series diagnostic plot. And just to show what the multi-well diagnostic plot is that, okay, if you plot the same property for a wide range of wells on the same pad, you can go ahead and assign and give them different colors, etc. if you'd like to do that. And this is just an example of that. If I'd like to give these guys here the color red, that'll be fine, and I'll give this color here blue. And then you can save that obviously as a template like you can do in the past. And then I can add more and more wells as well as if I'd like to do that. These templates that you create here, they can be both made company-wide, so you can share them with your colleague. You can only use them for yourself if you like to keep them private. You can copy them, you can add more wells to them, you can rename them, etc. So all that functionality is here to the right. One thing that in the past, when you generated a fluid, so when you did this calculation here before, you predicted the fluid composition, the tables, the black oil tables were created at the same time. So let's say you were running 10,000 calculations simultaneously, then you would actually generate 10,000 times 10 tables because it was a lot of different formats. So that would require a lot of overhead, a lot of storage. So what we've done now is to make these basically being downloadable on request, because most of you will use the PVT tables in the background in Whitson Plus essentially, and you'll go ahead and use them directly in the tool. If you like to use them in any other third-party tool, you can just click the download button like you can do here. It will provide you with a message that the file is being generated in the backend, and once it's done, you'll get a notification that the file has been generated also in the front end. In this case, we actually this file generation failed, but if I go to the downloaded overview right here to the right, you will get an overview. Okay, this file changed or failed for whatever reason, and most likely it's just because of an old table here. So I'll just go ahead and create a new fluid real quick and just relaunch the calculation here to the right to make sure that we get a table that we can download. So let's see here. Yeah, so if I just export this guy right now, we'll see the same now. So yeah, so this table was actually downloaded from before, but if I go here, generate a new table, PVT file is ready and can be downloaded here. I go to this overview, and this overview is essentially what is new. We see when the file was generated, we see the status of it, whether it's finished. You can sort on these things if you'd like to do that, and you can also download it here to the right. So this file generation overview is a new feature in the tool, in which you get an overview of all the historically downloaded files that you have been working on. In addition to that, there's a ton of other small things here and there. For those of you who upload a wide range of wells into the tool, now you can append data to the data set. So before you were always overriding data, but now you can also append data by using this merge option if you use the Whitson Plus template. You also have an Analytic interface right here that you can go ahead and use and apply. So that's there from before. But now for those of you who upload more than 1 million rows, let's say you know 45,000 rows of monthly data, that type of thing from flat files, that's something you can now do in the CSV format right here on the mass upload. And that's primarily, so if you download that template, you'll see that it's only for production data upload. So it's not if you like to have a bunch of physical properties, etc. But that you can always upload later. But that's primarily for type of work, for you know decline type of work, and whatnot. So with that, we hope that you'll be able to dig in and give us some good input when you've been able to look at the new features, and just let us know if there's any issues. So we'll jump on a call real quick to help where we can. In the near future, what we're working on is functionality for the shower pressure group. That'll be a part of the analytical RTA feature, and that's to quantify interference between wells. We're also working on a multi-well numerical model down here to the right, and that will be on the multi-well analysis. So you can create numerical models with a wide range of models in them. We're also providing a lot of upgrades into our DCA feature. So this guy right here, making sure that it will be much more robust and more generalized in the future. We're upgrading our GIS all the time, and we're also working on the fractional version of numerical RTA. So right now we have the fractional RTA feature, which is this guy right here. That is analytically, and then we would like to go and also do that for or basically have a numerical RTA equivalent of that feature.